Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Robocraft with me, Lathrix, and welcome to a bit of an update. Yes, it's been a very interesting week in terms of updating. There's been quite a few patch notes released in a scattered kind of form over on the Robocraft website, and this is the main attraction everyone's talking about. From now on, sir and sirettes, you can have every single kind of shape of shield in tier 10, which is a big deal for a lot of people, particularly me, who have trouble with building with the regular shields. I'm just here currently unlocking them, so you can have a quick look-see at the tech tokens. They all cost 88, so it's nothing too special. We're going to be having a quick look at stats and a quick discussion about them. Then we're going to get into the talking about the bug patches and the big patches, which are the changes to the actual game itself. Big game changes have happened, particularly to do with the towers, so we'll get into that in a little bit. In fact, I'll probably put in the description times in the video where I'm doing whatever. Anyway, so let's have a quick look-see. Now, there have been some concerns that maybe this will be the new way to go, but we're going to find out. So, current Electroplate, I think from what I've read, everything has the same shield factor. It does. Everything has the same health. It does. Okay, so everything essentially has the same armor and the same shield factor. Now that may have you scratching your head, and it certainly does with me, because suddenly, this tiny little shield I'm about to buy, the tier 1, now tier 10 shield, let's actually get to a robot I actually have working so we can have a quick test out on where I can put shields. There we go. Let's go on to Moop quickly, since I do like my Moop. Let's take off his current shield. Pff, who's going to use tier 10 shields these days? So I can instantly put this one instead. So it has a P-flop of 22, which is the same as... Actually, I just realised this... Oh, wow, these are the old tier 1 ones. I haven't seen these in a while. It only just dawned on me, these are the old tier 1 shields. That's amazing. How tiny they are. Cute. So essentially, what they've gone for is that they've gone for a very weird concept. And the concept is, all of the shields are the same, however, to cover the same area, it's definitely more efficient to go with the higher tiered of shields. The higher tier of shields are certainly the most effective to get a bigger area done. However, the big problem... Now, this isn't necessarily a problem. This could potentially be a problem, and it's something a lot of people are currently discussing, is that although per area it's much easier per... So for a large area, per P-flop, it's still more efficient to use a tier 10. However, the shield per area is going to be way more effective if you use multiple lower tiered Electroplates, since this little section here has the same strength as this entire lump of shield. So that has the same strength in total as this little area here. So if you imagine covering this area with this shield, so multiples of those shield, that area can be ridiculously powerful, meaning you can have some serious hard points on your robot, and that is where the concern comes. However, of course, it will be less P-flop efficient, so you're going to have to sacrifice elsewhere. So will this be balanced? Will it not? I honestly don't know. Feel free to tell me your opinions in the comments, but honestly, to me, it does seem to be a little bit hard to balance. Now, I'm not necessarily saying it will be imbalanced, because I honestly think it will be, but I think over time there will have to be changes to see what will stick, and I'm certain that some designs will become very nasty very fast. On the upside, it does make my dream of making a completely electroplated robot a reality. Okay, so onwards to the more patch notey things. So, the lovely Electroplates are now being affected by overclocking. Yay! Which means, essentially, as you overclock, the shield element, but not the health element, will improve, meaning that Electroplates are, half quoting here, bad in the early game, but great in the late game, favouring an aggressive playstyle. Essentially meaning that during the late game, when you're very overclocked, the shields will reign supreme over block spam. However, in the early game, block spam will reign supreme over Electroplates, and thus balance is done for the universe. It's a bizarre thing. I don't really know how to take all this. I'm going to have to experiment myself, see what's the best, but yeah. So, I'm going to have a very quick skip here, and we're going to have a look at the patch notes regarding game changes. Now, I'm probably going to swap over to a different format from the actual game, so you can see the notes as I read them. Okay, so here we are. I decided to use face cam for this little bit, since I'm basically going to be talking to you. You may as well have some music in the background and something ugly to look at. So here we are with the patch notes. We're going to be going in order, despite the fact that towers are obviously the most interesting. That comes in week 2. So, part 1 of the update. Coming in this week's update. All shapes available at tier 10, we've already gone over that. It will be available in the red and black colouring. Shield will now overclock without any more details, but Electroplates will heal unarmed. Essentially meaning that the healing rate is still... Essentially meaning now that Electroplates, once they're healed, have no shield factor and have to recharge themselves, which is kind of trying to bring balance, which I do agree with, but it makes early game even more crap. So EP will be weak versus early game and tough versus late game, but less for defense, and this is how they're making it worse for defense. The fact that your shields suddenly aren't that good when repaired, so having a medic on medic healing suddenly is a hell of a lot worse than it used to be. Ish. We'll never know. Honestly, I hope that's that, because I do love a good bit of medic on medic. Other cool stuff, plasma damage on our overclock, fantastic, considering I still play my plasma bomber more than anything else in the world. Just for the voice volume slide has been added. Apparently people, including myself, have been a little bit nervous about that, since honestly, the audio for the woman has been extremely loud, the announcer, so that being quieter certainly isn't a bad thing. Classic mode now starts with overclock level 4, which means that bots which don't work in overclock level 1 will now work in classic, EA, plus matches will be a bit faster. I'm trying to go through as fast as I can. Ally HUD and health bars are now seen on screen, fantastic, because that was an issue honestly with me, not having them all the time, meant knowing where I wanted to go could be a bit difficult. Ally health bars now clearer, once again as a medic, very very difficult beforehand. Tier 1 now, essentially now everything's gone down one, since beforehand Tier 1 had no overclocking, now there is. Tier 2 didn't have the fusion shield but had overclocking, now it has the fusion shield and overclocking, and Tier 3 has towers. Apparently it now trusts the lower levels a little bit more, which I'm very thankful for. Honestly, I thought overclocking should be in Tier 1 straight away, although the towers being later I certainly understand. Leave game button has now been added, however you will be warned. Apparently there is some rumours that there might be punishments later on, but currently it's just like... But this will give people a buff, and I'm reading it, I already know this bit. Will give people a respawn buff, which increases their respawn rate on your team if you've left. This makes leavers, because I think they kind of misunderstood. They kind of dropped the ball, thinking that people wouldn't leave purely because they had to Alt F4. If it's a particularly long game, they're going to leave. So you're going to need some catch-up mechanism. It's either getting people into games which are already going, which I don't like personally, or something like this, like giving a buff to your allies. And a respawn buff certainly seems one way of doing it. So yay. Tank tracks are now a bit slower. Don't know why I did that for. It's warm in here. Tank tracks are now a little bit slower. Yeah, that's good. TX1 SMGs have been reduced. Honestly, I didn't see that as a problem, as I found that most TX1 vehicles had glaring weak points because of the huge CPU load. But okay, I think honestly that will more revolve around megabots. I know that some people are complaining about TX1 damage because of the overclocking, but personally, I think it's going to affect megabots more, making the mega plasmas a little bit more viable in comparison. Resolution supported again, yay! I don't know why they keep on removing resolutions. It made my life a nightmare as a streamer at one point when they literally changed it mid-stream. Because one of the updates happened. Hoverblade turning has been improved, which is good since hoverblades right now are a bit meh. Bug fixes! Base added back into challenge and mega boss mode. Literally that was a bug and it was amazing. Fixed bugs causing people not to commit to battles, fine. Fixed a major bug where overclock too much when killing peoples with higher overclock levels. Yeah, I actually had that happen to me once. It was rather interesting because my flyer bombed someone, killed them, just a good plasma shot. And it went from like overclock level 2 to 6 in one go, and it just shot forward and bugged out because of it, which was bizarre. Fixed a bug preventing players shooting enemies inside their own fusion shield. Happened to me way too many times. Fixed a bug causing heal assist spots and scouts because not being able to, yeah, that's fine. And fixed a bug causing some players to be stuck queuing infinitely, which has always been a bug since the dawn of time of Robocraft, and I honestly see it still being here. New cosmetic cubes! Yay! Which I'm going to get back to at the end of this video. New matte orange and black carbon 6 armor cubes. Carbon 6 armor cubes are awesome. Yeah, there's loads of new stuff here, basically all cosmetic stuff, with the cubes being able to be purchased with RP. Improvements with towers, that's going to be coming now! Boom! Week 2! Now this is the big one, Sonja. This is how... I love this. Honestly, this is a really good patch note to me, and I completely agree with them. 100% well done them. We have made a number of changes to the towers themselves to improve them. Made the protective umbrella made of toughened space glass. Which does make you wonder, why don't you just make your robots out of toughened space glass? Because that would probably be quite good. So you can see enemies beneath them and enemies above them. Yay! Increases the side of the aperture so it's easier to bomb from above. Thank you. Because it made helicopters really good at this, and slower flyers, like as in heavier armoured, heavy-duty aerofoil bombers like mine, a little bit more difficult. Now it's easier. Lowered the crystal cluster, so now it's more of a circular around it rather than attached to the sides, which is both good and bad, because it means now it's a bit more of a... It's going to be easier to do the like sniping from the edge thing, since it's going to be quite obvious where the edges are, as in terms of where the crystals are being held on. So you can't feel special if you know how to do that. Oh. Changed the clasps, so central, yeah, that's what I was just saying, and thinned the width of the trunk again, just for visibility. That's really all that there, isn't really that much of a bother, and then they're now kind of glowy pink-purple as opposed to what they were before. Yay, I guess. So, clock cycle booster. Now here as well, the interesting stuff comes. You can see there's quite a bit of it, so we're going to get through it as fast as we can. So, there we go. Some major changes to how fusion towers work with the overclocker. If you've got one tower, your fusion shield is active. Yes, you need at least one tower for your fusion shield to be active, meaning that at the start, your shield will not be active. That's cool. 2 towers captured. Clock cycle booster engaged. This multiplies how much clock you get. Essentially, here's the booster here. Yay! No, there it is, rather, yeah. So essentially you get more overclocks if you've got 2 towers or more, meaning that the kills you get, more speed up in your damage bonuses. Yay! 3 towers captured. Clock cycle generator engaged, meaning you get a passive overclock. So every second you get a certain amount of overclock just passively, which is awesome. And finally 4, you deactivate the enemy shield because, as previously mentioned, you need at least 1 tower to first activate your shield. Earning changes. Clock cycles earned from fusion towers captured are now awarded proportional based on the overclock level of the players in your team, so that players with higher OC will earn more, because it was an issue in the recent games that if you were at level 11, you captured a tower, you were essentially getting absolutely nothing for your time, and that made higher levels just even more likely to ignore towers. Well done them. Passive CC from generator is still awarded to all mates regardless of your overclock level, which I do like because it would be a bit too fast paced. And finally, clock cycles earned from defense has been reduced, as this was resulting to very level overclocked players, very highly level, I don't quite know what that means there, jumping 4+ levels by killing a single enemy, which is good because the reason for this is there were like rail snipers and stuff who were killing people outside the bubble, or at least fighting inside the bubble rather, against enemies coming in. They're finding a good spot, just camping, and they got to overclock level 13 in like 5 minutes, and then they were just dominant for the first 10 minutes of the game, which wasn't very fun. Honestly, I'm guilty of doing this, by the way, so I don't look down on people for doing it. It's not even an exploit. It's just using the game mechanics that are currently there. Also, I've got to take off my my earphone for a second, so I am listening out for the door. I've just realised. Well done me. So I'm going to look even better than usual. Also, I need a haircut. Look at that. Look at this. Look at fluff. I have very fluffy hair. This is a new mechanic. Okay, yeah. So the respawn escalator is, as previously mentioned. This is a new mechanic designed. Oh no, sorry, that's the respawn bonus I'm thinking of. Sorry, this is a different thing. This is a thing which I find quite interesting indeed. This is a new mechanic designed to ensure that games that end too quickly, 5 minutes or less, are rare. Oh. And games that go on for more than 20 minutes are also rare. Yay! Our sweet spot is 10 to 20 minutes per battle. Honestly, if every battle was that long, I would be a happy camper. With some games ending shorter and longer, but rare. As it is now, your weapons will deal more damage to the crystal with more towers you own. Yay! But the amount extra you get per tower starts small at the beginning of the battle and gets extremely large over 20 minutes, so at late game you'll be doing far more damage than early game, which makes kind of tower dominance in early and mid game key, and then rushing later on the win. So rushing straight there on, let's say, 4 medics, certain YouTubers have done that recently, will no longer be a viable tactic. So 4 towers captured at the beginning, you only do 110% extra damage, which is the usual. But after 20 minutes, you do 350% extra damage, meaning you're going to break them in just by poking them with a stick. And thus the game will end. Very, very fast. Which team will push at the right time, which team will have overclocked enough early game, and which would defend, that's the whole point there. Respawn escalator, that's what I thought that was. Similar to the protonivity escalator, the more towers you own, the faster your team respawns. This reduction in spawn times is tiny in early game and large in late game, so later on you constantly respawn a hell of a lot faster. So in summary, let's not do comments. Shooting the tower's crystals is easier and allows you to keep an eye on the battlefield whilst you're doing it. Games don't stalemate as frequently, and etc, etc, all that good stuff. We don't really need to do all that, it's just what we've just read, so it's pretty darn cool in my opinion. And the final one is all just about how you can now log on with your Steam ID. I haven't done it myself, so I can't comment. So, back to the game, we'll have a look at the new cosmetics. Yay! Okay, so we are back for the final section of the video, yay. So, here's the SMG Tier 10 Carbon, exactly the same as the Tier 10 regular, except for it looks a hell of a lot prettier and costs you 1,200 Galaxy Cash, which is the same as the regular, but is that really worth it? That's quite a lot of money if you want multiple of these. I mean, it is very pretty though, to say the least, so at least it's got that going for it. The next thing then is the big thing. Is the new armor blocks. Now, I haven't actually seen those yet, so this is going to be new to me as well. There they are, the Carbon 6 cubes are the exact same as the regular cubes, except for, as you can imagine, they cost a fortune more. Yes, but they do look very, very nice. In fact, I'm going to purchase a few just now to put them next to the regulars. So, there we go, some of the new armor cubes, get some of the numbered ones, because I'm going to end up using them anyway, so we may as freaking well. There we go, and then I've already got normal cubes. Let's have a quick look-see at how they actually look then, shall we? Let's go to a bay, which I can, just kind of go off one of my current robots. So, let's see, we've got the Tier 10 Carbon cubes, as you can see, are basically, they're more like regular cubes. They have, I think these are the matte cubes, aren't they? Yeah. They have no shine to them whatsoever, making them, honestly, I quite like that. It looks like coal. To me, it makes me think of coal from various games, so that's very, very nice. Then we have the new other Tier 4. I mean, it'd be nice having a robot just orange. You can have an orange Tier 10 if you wanted. And finally, we have these, which are... I don't know, honestly. It's like, would I really want these anywhere on my bot? I'm not sure. But these, I'm really a big fan of, the regular ones. They're, in every way, exactly the same as a regular Tier 10 block, so you get no benefit from using them other than your aesthetic preferences. Of course, for people who have already finished the game and honestly just need to... Well, not already finished, but got more money than they really need, and they want to splurge out and make a pretty robot just for vanity, then this is the ultimate vanity for you. I should also mention, sorry about the cut there, but the door finally went off. I should also mention that about these ones here, which are the final kind of cosmetic cube you can use, which are a little bit different in my opinion, because they do actually have a bit more purpose, that you can actually spell things if you so desire. Yes, these have various letters on them which you can change around, and I don't know, if you want to spell the word can, I guess you kind of sort of can if you really want to, sideways. It's a bit weird, honestly. Trying to get them in the right place is going to be a bit difficult since you kind of need to figure out how they will work, but you can eventually get everyone facing upwards at least. So obviously it spells carbon, so every letter in carbon is there, and that is essentially the patch in a nutshell. I'm sorry for the shaky kind of movement while I was doing the face cam bit. It's very early in the morning and I'm basically running off caffeine. I just want to do this video as soon as possible. So thank you for watching. Well, it's not early morning, I've only just woke up because of a late night. So thank you very much for watching, sir and sirs. If you have enjoyed this and possibly found it helpful, then please consider liking, favouring, sharing, all that good stuff this video. It helps out me, it helps out the channel, and ensures that Robocraft sticks on the channel for a long time to come. So thank you for watching, have a lovely day, do take care, and until next time, goodbye.